Welcome, Chef Philly. How are you today? I want me to sound sexy, but it's my hay fever. Didn't really work.
I'm doing really well. I've got a day off from the kitchen, so I'm at home and I'm catching up on emails. It's really good. Yeah, having a bit of a
But you look,
relaxing day.
but you look glamorous. I heard you did 90 hours and you still look amazing.
Oh,
So,
thanks. Yeah,
so
I had a nice sleep yesterday, so all good. Don't know if I sound amazing, but
you know what? I
it'll be
think both of
fine.
us sound similar. So it's like the husky voice today. So husky sexy. I'm thinking Friends and Phoebe. So it works really well.
Whip out my smelly cat.
Forget the smelly cat. No, that sounds that sounds interesting. So I have to ask. Well, I did a lot of research on you, and I came across a lot of cheeky photographs. Ones where you're like indulging into like oozy purple donuts. So as you
Mm-mm.
know, my podcast is called Naughty Bites. What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Oh my gosh, I've got loads.
Can't wait. Tell me them all.
Um, like as a child, I grew up on Lucky Charms and I'm obsessed with them. They're amazing. I've got a massive, massive sweet tooth. I grew up in America and whenever I go to America, I have it for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'll go through in a box and like they're amazing. Also like any sort of sweets in bags. I believe you're meant to grow out of it. I haven't. So I like literally down a bag of Haribo, the little candy kittens I'm obsessed with, nerds, like American sweets, everything with any artificial coloring, I absolutely love. Uh, anything really bad for you. Yeah. but
It's
but
good.
then also like we've got I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure as much. I'm quite proud of it, but I really love like great burgers, great pizza. We've got an amazing pizzeria near us in Fulham,
Oh,
and they do
nice.
Neapolitan pizzas, and they fly everything in from Italy, and it's so phenomenal, the pizza. And then also like the burgers in London are just phenomenal, like Bleecker Burger, Tommy's Burger Joint. There's amazing like really uh quite niche burger joints that are happening, and I absolutely love them. Fried chicken, I love. I've served it twice on MasterChef. I've got it in the restaurant. I've got my own fried chicken box.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So anything American, it's like American diner food,
Not even like because my chicken is like Korean fried chicken, so it's just like unhealthy food I love.
it's amazing. Because when you said like old school sweets, Amazon does nostalgia sweets. So I've actually got at home with me nerds, dip dab, refreshers, the curly whirly, like
Oh yeah,
literally I was just like
love that.
get in my belly. Literally, I love stuff like that. But then like I do miss having a good burger. But
Oh my
just
god,
like
it's
this
so good.
starch, like good flavors and starch, and I love it.
No,
It's
but
like
it's like they're quite to make an amazing burger. It's a real fine art, and fried chicken. It's like it takes because like a lot of chefs now, like myself, are putting it on like more diet, more a la carte sort of menus. And like I've even been in Michelin star restaurants, and they whip out their fried chicken, and it takes a lot of science and art to actually perfect it. So I really like don't say that these restaurants aren't artists because they're really great at what they do.
I
And
have
like the science in making the burger, there's Bleecker Burger. I've worked with Aubrey Allen, who are an amazing butcher into the actual science and how they actually create the perfect fat ratio with the perfect flavor, and then how they smash it with their own like developed patty smasher. But yeah, I think it's such an art, and there's a lot that goes into it.
so I have to ask because I saw on Instagram that you did an experiment with prawns with bicarbonate and without
Yeah.
bicarbonate. Can you tell me more about that? Again, that's science and
Yeah, of course.
research into
So
that.
bicarbonate of soda or sodium bicarbonate or baking soda in America, is very alkaline. So we use a lot of acids in cooking, like vinegars, lemon juices, whatnot. Then baking soda is one of our alkaline ingredients. The alkalinity actually affects ingredients in a lot of produce in a lot of ways that we don't really know. Well, that as home cooks, you don't really know. But for example, it breaks down cellulose in vegetables really, really easily. So if you add a little bit to your boiling pot and put your broccoli in, it's going to cook in a lot shorter time to make it green, but then softer. So you're never going to end up with a brown broccoli mush. Also, they use it a lot in Chinese cooking. So I don't know if you've heard of the term velveting with chicken.
Okay.
It's like they use it to velvet chicken. So you'll cut the chicken in a certain way across the grains to make it super, super tender. And this is how you get, like, when you get your Chinese takeaway and it's like really, really juicy, tender meat. That's the reason. So they cut it in a certain way. Then they put baking powder, and then they put like corn flour within the marinade, and then they cook it in a high heat on a wok, and that's like velveting term. So for prawns, I did a test side by side. I'm a development chef, and I read about it, and I was like, oh, okay, let's test this out. Do the control, 0 baking powder. Let's do a baking powder prawn. And I just marinated it in a bit of bacon, like a little sprinkle of baking powder for about 20 minutes. And the difference was actually phenomenal. The prawn that wasn't in baking powder was a bit more chewy. You could feel the tendons in the mouth. And it looked dramatically different. Whereas the baking powder prawn, it was like more tender, but like there was more of a bite to it as well, a lot more juicy, and the color was extremely different as well. So that's why we marinate our prawns in a little bit of baking powder before cooking.
For those of you listening, you've got to try this out, because I know I am. Because I love
like
prawns.
have your little baking powder, just at the side.
I love prawns. So you're an acclaimed chef with a passion for big flavors. You are. With a passion for big flavors. What started you on that journey?
My flavor journey. I mean, I first got introduced by two like more umami flavors and more flavors within my first apprenticeship, I guess. So I was working at the Ramsay Group after uni. So I studied chemistry. I had a master in chemistry, and then against my mother's wishes, went to the Ramsay Group and became a chef. I'm an Indian mother, and I don't think she wanted me to be a chef. But she's proud. Yeah, no, she's really happy. But originally, when I was she just wanted the best for me. But no, when I first became a chef, I worked for the Ramsay Group, and I first got introduced to the different flavors, and that's why kind of started my journey, and like I'm kind of like showed me about the 6 different flavors, and that's what I've written my book about. But I got introduced to acids, to sweetness, to learn how to taste, and that's what I'm really encouraging chefs and home cooks to do, and balance flavor. But it was not until my second restaurant that I kind of got introduced to more Asian ingredients and more Asian flavors, and with that came a lot of umami, because that was like more misos, kombus, soy sauces, that sort of stuff that would give me that next flavor profile, and that's what really heightened my senses. And also what I absolutely loved about it, I'm a bit of a lazy chef, and you get a lot more flavor in sauces if you add these ingredients to it. And it's almost like flavor hacks. It's more bang for your buck, and it's like hacks where you can like add more flavor in a shorter amount of time.
Oh, that's amazing. And is that been used in your book as well, that sort of technique?
100%. So the book is called Taste Kitchen Asia, and it's all about understanding your flavor profile. So for example, I've got a massive sweet tooth. I might like the sweet dishes. However, you might like more acidic or herby flavors or spicy food. You said you love spice, so you might like spicy food. So the book is split into 6 different chapters. One is sweet and it's called Kiddish. Then it's got Spice Master, which is you, your Spice Master. It's got Comfort, which is more of a feeling. So it's all about food that wants to hug you from the inside. It's like food when you're hungover and you want to just like wrap up in a cold blanket. Then there's Tarty, which has got a little bit of acid, and it's got some like really beautiful salads, ceviches, pickles, that sort of stuff. Then there's Refined, which I absolutely love. It's got loads of herby flavors. It's got a pork lard, so like a pork salad with loads and loads of herbs in there. And then there is finally Dark Horse, which is our secret flavor that we all are secretly addicted to. There's like loads of mushrooms, misos. There's an amazing shiitake. There's an amazing shiitake ramen in there, which is so good. But yeah, so then within each of these recipes, adaptability is really at the heart of the recipes, and I want you to adapt each of the recipes to your own palate. So, and home cooks do not taste enough as they eat, as they cook. So I want you to be able to taste as you go. What I find a lot with the difference between restaurant cooking and home cooking is there's not a spoon pot next to where you're cooking, so you're not tasting. You'd be like, okay, does it need a bit more salt? Does it need a bit more of this? When I say in the recipe, there's the point where I say taste and adjust. At that point, you will taste your sauce or whatever you're making, and you will be guided to a flavor wheel, and you will be able to amend each of the recipes to your palate, to bring up or down each of the ingredients to amend it to you.
I'm quite excited about that, because when you said about the spoon, we do have like, I have different spoons for like rices or salts and stuff.
Yeah.
Inside of my like hob, because I have to taste. But
yeah,
when you mentioned the flavor wheel, I thought of my son, because for some bizarre reason he's 18 months, but when I open my spice jars, he's attracted to the spicier, bold flavors. So it's really bizarre. I'm like, you're 18 months, how do you know? But then the other day, he just buries his face, like he loves salsas and dips. He just literally just dips his entire head into the little pot. And he's just covered in like baba ganoush or hummus or whatever it is. And I'm like, you're only 18 months, but you know what you like. So your book for me is a good way of adapting the dish for his flavor profile so that we can all eat it, because he loves bold flavor. You know, 18 months is like
crazy. I've developed baby food before and like toddler meals, and the actual spice is the last flavor palette that you develop, because obviously it is. So spice is it's not on your trigeminal system. So your trigeminal system is your system that feels pain.
Right.
So
oh God, I'm thinking all sorts now.
So it's like the system that what is it? It's benign narcissists that.
It's a good thing I didn't drink, then you would have seen like the water come
out. Where it can be linked to this. It's not like completely obviously, but it seems to be like people that actually enjoy pain like spice. But then the opposite to
aphrodisiac thing as well now. I'm thinking of all sorts.
But it's like if the opposite to spice can be obviously casein, so the milk, so that reduces the spice, so it takes up the spice, but then also mint, so that is the opposite to spice as well. So like so that's why when you do like a mint raita, the opposite's your vindaloo.
No, definitely. No, it's true, because when I was vegetarian for a couple of years, my grandma would always make me have like chas, like the like tart, acidic, soury yogurt drink, and also just give me like the sweet lassi, but without the mango, to like complement with mint and stuff, to complement everything I couldn't tolerate. But it works. It does work. So
there you go.
So I can't wait.
I think the book's going to be great for you.
I'm really excited. I need to order it because I
Well,
want to order it for little man.
Over half. Are you still vegetarian?
Oh no. I got converted when I came back to Spain, so it was like.
Well, over half the recipes are veggie and vegan, just because I feel like you can pack so much flavor with a lot of spices or Asian ingredients into these sort of recipes. Because, I don't. I love to cook with vegetables because I think there's so much flavor within them, and you can pack a load of flavor into these recipes. And sustainability. Woo!
Oh, that's. I'm gonna lead you on to that in a bit as well, so I can't wait. So, so your passion is Asian street food, and you spent a lot of time working and researching in Asia, to find unique recipes that would appeal to the Western palate as well. This research you've already mentioned, it's already applied to your latest book. I know you've explained the 6 flavors, like the 6 taste profiles, but what was your concept about that? Because it's a very unique approach to writing a book. But for a lot of, like, is it your science background that you've applied to it? You said your chemistry. Like, what was your story behind it? Because it's a really cool profile to work on.
Thanks so much. No, it is a bit different. I'd say there's a bit of scientific brain behind that. However, I would definitely say it's more my dyslexic brain.
Explain some more.
I'm very I think out of the box. And I'm super creative in that sort of way. But I'll not think like a lot of people, like differently, which is it's fine. But then I come up with some weird concept to be like, okay, how do I visualize flavor? And that's really how do I depict flavor? Because I hate reading, which is why I've written a book.
But you've got a flavor. You've got a flavor.
Exactly. So like I hate reading, but I'm very visual. I'm a very visual learner, and that's why I kind of wanted to depict flavor. And I was like, okay, how do I depict it? How do I show it in like a 2D representation of that? And that's how I kind of came up with the flavor wheel. And there was lots of iterations from it to where we are today. But throughout the book, I've got like video. So there's little QR codes that you can scan. And
so it's super interactive.
I see that just because I don't learn through reading. I know the majority of people do, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, I don't, and I didn't want to produce a book that I wouldn't be able to learn from. So I wanted to make it accessible for a lot of people. So there's little QR codes in it, and you can scan them. And for any of the like harder skills, for example, like making en papillote for a fish, so like covering a fish in a little paper, a little bit difficult. Or you could do like how to fold dumplings. Yeah, it's really hard to show that in words or like write that in words. So then I've got like a series of photos, but then I've also got a video, so you can like go on the video and be like, okay, let's actually do this together, because I don't understand how to do that.
But that's amazing, because like you said, like I love a good book. However, some books make me fall asleep, so I can read the first few chapters and then I just switch off.
Yeah.
But learning, I struggled. Like at university, I struggled to read so many books because it was just, I didn't learn that way. And for me to learn was just doing loads of exams, just exams through practice. So your concept of your book is different. Of interactiveness. You're there, but you're not there. You're learning techniques, because sometimes when you try and explain the process, it gets it's jargon for so many people, and then you're like, okay, I've given up. Like, but to show something in a step by step, it's just way more personal. It adds that personal touch.
100%. Like I actually didn't discover that I was dyslexic until I was 22. So I used to listen to everything from the teacher or the lecturer or whatnot. And that's how I read now, because like I have Audible and I just like read. And now I like read at like twice the speed. But before, if you put a piece of text in front of me, it will take me twice as long as you to read. But yeah, like everyone learns differently, and I like to be inclusive for everyone. Neurodiverse.
That's really good because many books don't do that, and you've managed to apply that in various aspects of visual and color, and it's amazing. So
yeah, it's very colorful. So within the colors, it's all like each of the chapters within the book is split into a different color, and it's very visually colorful. So I've been looking at research. Well, I asked Charles Spence, who's an amazing professor at Oxford Uni. He looks into the psychology of flavour, and I was reading some of his papers, and it's just mind blowing. And he's been looking at. I asked him about the psychology of how flavour and colour interacts, and how we actually perceive colour. And I mean, I would say that lime green. If you think of lime green, what flavour do you think of?
do you know, when I think of lime green, I'm thinking of that Solero ice popsicles. Do you remember
Okay, yeah. So then that would be acidic, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Remember
great.
that.
But if you were to think of like a red or an orange, what would you think of?
Heat.
Yeah, exactly. So then
Heat.
you know that subconsciously, and that's how I've kind of looked at it in the book. So my prop stylist did an amazing job of finding all these different colored props, and we would each of the shots are very visually colorful, and it all like links up into color and flavor.
I'm so excited because now I'm thinking of like, you know, when you get those food, like, you know, the food chopping boards of like blue for fish and red for meat. I'm
Yeah,
thinking of like all those little things as well. I'm like, was there
yeah,
an idea behind that as well? Like, you know, blues for fish and red for
yeah.
meat and huh.
There you
Well,
go.
I know, no, definitely. So you love to, as you can tell from what you said, and I can tell, you love brainstorming without any limit, and you dig deeper and deeper and deeper. A lot of nowadays restaurants, but your book has a lot of vegan and vegetarian recipes, but restaurants now are focused on more plants and edible plants, including plant-based proteins such as potato milk.
I've never had potato milk.
I was going to ask you that question. Have you ever tried? Well, you haven't tried it, but have you used anything plant-based that's different and new in your book, or even in your cooking?
Within the book, I'd say not so much, because I want to make it super accessible for home cooks, and I want you to be able to cook and pick up things from the supermarket. It's very accessible. The restaurant, it's all food from the book. So all the recipes from the restaurant are in the book. So when you come to the restaurant, you can actually taste the book, which is quite fun. I mean, I've jazzed up a little because it is restaurant food.
Yeah.
I've put some more fluff on it, and like I've made it very fancy and nice. But it's at its core, it is food from the book, and it's nothing more than that. Any interesting ingredients? I mean, I've made tofu before. Do you know how to make tofu?
No, I can make paneer, but I've never made tofu.
Okay, it's a bit weird.
Tell me,
Bear
right?
with me.
Okay.
So it's the way to make tofu. Or have you heard of yuba?
No.
Okay.
Okay. This is amazing. This is like lesson 101.
So tofu milk is used to make tofu. Soy milk is used to make tofu. So you need to like fresh soy milk. You can get it in a lot of in Chinatown in London. You can get it, or you can make your own. It's a little bit hard to make. You've got to soak the soybeans and then like blend it, that kind of thing, and then pass it. But you can't use the pasteurized stuff. It's like kind of making cheese with pasteurized milk. It doesn't work. But if you get the fresh stuff, then it's super easy. You just kind of add a bit of coagulant to it. There's a few different ones you can use. However, the ones that I've used, if you go into Boots,
Okay.
there's bath salts that are food grade, and you add a tiny, tiny bit to it, and it's got the acid in it to actually acidify
Oh wow.
soy milk, and it sets it, so you get like fresh tofu. Yuba you can get from the soup from like specialist shops, and
Okay.
it's like, have you seen like milk skin?
Yes.
Right. So
Okay.
like when you like leave the hob on with some milk in it, you get that milk skin and it like peels
Yeah.
off. Same thing with soy milk. So you'll get a skin,
Okay.
and it's like this weird, well, it's like a soy milk skin.
Okay.
I really love it. Some people find it a little bit more challenging. We went to a 2 Michelin star restaurant in Spain called Margaret's, and they had it on the menu. I loved it. It's a very challenging menu. They play with something that tastes disgusting but is delicious. We made something out of something delicious, and then something that is is delicious but is made out of something disgusting. I really love it, but like my boyfriend didn't like it at all. But then I nearly gagged and threw up at this meal, but like, it's fine.
Oh my
Something
God.
else. It was raw cod liver, but don't put that in. But no, so the yuba is soy milk skin, and then they dry it. What I found what I like about yuba is when I deep fry it, and then it makes these super super delicious little crisps, and they like just disappear in your mouth, and they're high in protein.
Okay, wait. You make your own tofu. You make these Uber crisps. Like your chemistry is really into your food, like in who you are. It's like
Yeah.
impregnated into you. Like wow, wow, wow. Like you're blowing my mind. But I'm like, why didn't I continue with food science? I'm like, oh my goodness.
I mean, science is at the heart of cooking, I'd say. Like,
It is.
to be I've peppered the book with the science of cooking, um but it's only the bits that you need to know, or like some little information that you need to know to be a better home cook. I've not geeked out completely about it because I don't think you want it and need it, and it's going to be overwhelming. It's very very simple stuff. It's like the way to use salt properly, and to make everyone a better, like, season better and be a better cook at home. It's very very simple techniques or additions, or little bits of information that you can actually add to your cooking.
But it's amazing because you're giving the home cook that extra bit of confidence on how to do stuff at home.
That's the plan. That is my
Ah,
plan.
yay!
Yeah.
so, so like you've answered quite a few of my questions, which I love. Um, so
I do chat a lot.
no,
Natural.
it's amazing. It's amazing because I've learned so much, and I'm thinking, wow, like you have blown my mind at the moment. It's like that, that moment in Ratatouille where Remy's feeding his brother, and he's like, "Now try the cheese with the strawberry," and how the little swirls and the little fireworks going off. That's how my head's working right now.
You know
I'm just
what?
like,
I've never seen Ratatouille.
please do watch
I
it.
know. Like,
You should watch it.
I went to a food festival the other week, and I was on stage with do you know Chris Tavin?
Yes.
So he was like, "Oh yeah, when you watch when in Ratatouille," and I'm like, "I love
Yeah.
Disney movies, and I haven't seen it," and I'm like,
Oh,
and he was like, "You homework, you need to watch that." I still haven't watched that. I think I'm gonna watch it today.
you should because it's good humor. Like just have a popcorn and just watch. It's amazing. Like I do love watching it. We'll be giggling. So you'll know what I mean when I think of all the little fireworks going off, the flavor combinations, and that's how my head is running right now. So so I've never been one for looking back, but I do believe your experience helped focus and channel your energy towards your goal. But what has 2022 been like for you so far? Like, because did you write your book during lockdown? Like, did it give you that time to focus on now?
No.
Okay.
So 2022 it's been intense. I wrote my book. I started writing my book September 2021.
Okay.
Finished it in December.
Wait. You wrote it. Okay, wait. Stop. You started in September last year. and you finished
Yeah.
in November.
Yeah. It was
How,
like, well, that was just the recipe part. So that was like, they gave me a super tight turnaround. And I wanted to push, I wanted to get it out because I had the recipe bank kind of ready
okay.
done. It was just testing the recipes. But then also, I'm a chef and a massive hard worker. So when I want to work, when a project's on, I'll get up. I think I was getting up at like, well, I was starting at like 6 a.m. and finishing at like midnight sort of thing. And I don't have days off. So I am a massive like workaholic. Got it.
Okay, but when you do break, you do party hard, right?
Yeah, when I break, I break.
Okay, great. Awesome.
So
Very
like
hard.
I'll go through bits where I'm not, for example, I'm working 6 days a week and I'm working every day and it's all, and I'm getting up early, I'm going to bed late and I'm literally working. But then when it gets to November, I think I'm going away for 2 weeks. And then December, I'm away for 4 weeks. I mean, I'll be working away, but I'm on my way.
That's
So
amazing.
like I go through bit. It's kind of nice being a freelancer because you get to like, well, and not having my own restaurant. So I get to like work and I work really hard and then I like break and I break really hard.
Wow.
But yeah, so like 2021, end of 2021 was intense. And then I went to Mexico for Christmas, which was an amazing trip. The food in Mexico is phenomenal. Got really inspired by that sort of food. The flavors and the spices out there, the chilies out there is insane. And then as soon as I got back, I got COVID while I was out there. Yeah. As soon as I got back in January, it went straight into the photo shoot.
Okay.
So the photo shoots, I did the food styling for it. It was a full-on 2 weeks of photo shoot. That was as soon as in January. So I was working every day. The photographers and the prop stylists were coming over. We actually shot it in the flat.
Oh,
In
good.
the back room. You know the room that we
Yeah.
originally started in? That's where we shot it.
Oh my goodness. Right. I need to bring you to Spain because there's this village restaurant. It's in the mountains, and all you see are like waterfalls and valleys. It's stunning, and it's like literally 5 minutes up the road from where I live.
Yeah.
I need to bring you here. But they had this Argentinian chef because in Granada you've got because it's Spain, you've got lots of Latin American people that live here as well. But what I found was in the city, spice is not a thing, like Spanish
Yeah.
spice, right? But what I found was in all the restaurants in the villages, they use spice and they do like different cuts of Iberian pork fillet. So you have it seared on the outside and it's cooked on a barbecue and it's like red in the middle. That's how I like it. I like it.
Oh my
I
God,
love
it's
all
so
the color gradients. But they serve it with this Argentinian salsa using their chilies. And the guy grows it. I can't even buy it. I can't even buy his chilies and I want it because
good.
the
You need
chilies.
to get a chili plant.
I know, but yeah, I don't grow vegetables, they die. So like, because they're so hot, I need to water all the time, and I'm like, when I have a garden one day, I'll do it. But this guy, the chili with the meat, doing a die. It's so amazing. Obviously,
Really?
I have to take you there.
Okay, I'll come because
You have
we
to.
get our. I'm obsessed with Iberian pork.
Oh my god, then Granada's
Like
amazing for it.
secreto is just my
Oh,
jam. We've got a very nice butcher near us, and that's what I mean about like eating meat when you can, but eating better quality meat
yeah,
because not all meat is bad for the environment.
yeah,
Um,
true. Yeah,
meat should be a luxury, and we eat meat, but do whatever you can afford. Like no
yeah.
one should go hungry for it. No, but at the same time, we're quite lucky, and we live next to a really lovely butcher,
Oh,
and they have a secreto, and I go there. We can do like vegan's choice, and we get like ex dairy cow. Um, it's so good, and we have it on a barbecue, and it's called vegan's choice because it's like all meat. Yeah, we've got our own chilies that we've just started gardening. We live on a top floor flat, and so we've got a little garden. It's like a green wall sort of thing, but we've got our own chili plants. But a load of them died in the heat wave. all my edible flowers and stuff. But the chilies are still alive, so as soon as we get them, we're going to ferment them, and we make fermented hot sauce.
Oh,
there's a fermented hot sauce. So going so off track, but
it's fine. But yeah, no, like yeah, you've got to come because you've got to try the chili, and then we can get to Mexico.
Right.
So yeah, you will love it.
On the menu at the restaurant, there's my fried chicken. And,
I saw the box.
Amazing, right?
Amazing, yeah. Like it was like takeaway but gourmet. Like the whole style of it was awesome.
So well, my friend actually designed it, but it's like kind of a rip off KFC. So it's meant to be like it's meant to take the piss a little bit. But within the box, it's got chicken that's been marinated in koji. You know what koji is?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So koji is so chicken's been marinated in. Within the box, there's chicken that's been marinated in koji. So koji is a rice grain that is fermented, and it's actually the like precursor to sake and miso, and it's used in a lot of fermented products. So when you add it to the chicken, it actually denatures a lot of the tendons and the muscle fibers within the chicken, so it makes it super, super tender. Then it's marinated in buttermilk as well, so it retains a lot of the juice and whatnot. And then it's double fried like a Korean sort of style. Then we got three different sauces. So we got katsu mayo with cashews on top. So that's like chill, low heat, just indulgent, comforting. That's the comfort one. Then there's the kiddish one, which is a little bit sweeter. It's got Korean barbecue sauce, so like a classic gochujang glaze, but with honey and butter. So it's kind of like a mix between an American buffalo sauce and a Korean barbecue sauce. So super, super delicious. Then the one that I think you'll like, I get Scotch bonnets and bird's eye chilies, ferment them with tomatoes and like cherry tomatoes, so a little bit sweeter, but then ferment them for a while so it gets quite acidic. Then make it into a hot sauce with carrots and carrots. So they're like super fruity, but like it's punchy and it's spicy.
My mouth is watering. Literally, I can't wait.
When you come, you need to
get it. Amazing. Yeah, no, when I saw it, I was like, because I want to try the octopus.
Yeah.
And the monkfish. Well, I've got a list of things I want to try because I saw people posting and sharing it, and I was like, damn, that looks incredible. Like, it's been such a success. It's been amazing. So I've got some questions to ask you about your monkfish and your octopus, because I love stuff like that. So you worked in Michelin-starred kitchens with the Gordon Ramsay group. What was the experience like for you, and did you have any mentorship when you worked there?
Yeah, I mean, going into the kitchens straight off the bat is intense. Like the Ramsay group is hard. But it's a massive growing like there was a lot of growth there, and you learn. The learning curve is huge, and I'm so grateful that it is, because I got to learn. It's a little bit of a secret. I've only done 2 years in professional kitchens.
You're amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Like it's like you make the most of your time there.
Yeah, it was. I did my apprenticeship, and then I left to be a development chef. So I designed ready meal for Tesco. I then worked in other kitchens like off and on, but like honestly, like those 2 years was like a huge grounding and like my base of all my kitchen experience. So like learning about like produce, how to cook like as a real foundation was amazing. And then the whole like concepts of being in kitchens and kitchen mentality, that's all come through the Gordon Ramsay group, and I still use that today. I think it's like it's a great platform to learn through.
That's awesome. But like your kitchens, like you've learned a lot, but from your experience there, you've just gone on to so many different.
Yeah,
it's like a spider. You have the main body and all the little legs going out, and that's what you've done. You've gone into so many different avenues.
I think I never wanted to be a chef. I never wanted like that sort of thing. I'm always creative, and within the lower level restaurants, you're never able to create, because that's the job of your head chef, and for good reason, because the head chef has done many years, and they understand what's part of the plate and how it works and everything behind it. As a young chef, I had all these ideas going on, and I was like, okay, I want to do this, and I wasn't able to do that. Then that's what drove me to go into development chefing, and that's kind of what I always wanted to do. Like I went to this. The reason I became a chef, I went to the restaurant Long Clume in the Lake District, and I got invited. It was like the first like fancy restaurant that I'd been to, and my dad took me. I was still at uni, and then they invited. I was like, I'm studying chemistry, and they were like, okay, come to a development kitchen. Met this development chef called Chet. He's an amazing chef. He's got a restaurant called BB in London now. It's unbelievable. And the lab looked like my chemistry lab, but he got to eat everything that he was researching, and I was like, I want to do your job.
That's amazing.
And that's what I've done. So now after designing ready meals for Tesco, which doesn't sound sexy, but that's what taught me all about Indian cooking. My mum had not that much of an influence on that. Love her to bits, but no, mother, she's very impatient in the kitchen.
Like when you went like Indian mother, I never cooked with my mum because again they have no patience, because they cook to get it done as opposed to teaching you. So then I was all sent off to like my grandmothers or this aunts to learn to cook, and that was my summer holidays, and I'm like, this sucks. Like,
so my mum didn't even cook. We got M&S takeaway.
Oh, I love that. I'd rather have that.
I don't know. No, it was good. I love an M&S takeaway, ready meal. But she would make the chapatis and the dals and whatnot and the rice, and then we would get takeaway. But I didn't learn about Indian cuisine or Indian spices until I was developing ready meals Tesco. We'd get like masterclasses by this amazing woman called Rem Patel. She was so cool, and we would taste the spices individually and taste how they actually interacted, and that's where I learned about how like ground coriander affects cumin, and then the base spices and the high notes and how it all interacts. And that's where my love of and my actual knowledge of Indian cooking came from.
Oh, that's amazing. Like I haven't done that stuff since my placement year, like of university. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. But it wasn't an avenue I wanted to go into, but it was really good because I got to learn about Chinese food with the NPD chef, and I was like, it was amazing. Like it was an experience. So I know you've gone into developmental chef and all that sort of stuff, but you've also got your own range of cookware in Goodfellow. Haven't you got your own range of cookware and stuff? No.
Next question.
I'll cut that out. Okay, I'll cut that bit out anyway. So you have spent a lot of time researching and traveling around Asia. Which place is it for you where you feel like you've reconnected and rediscover yourself and get that whole place of like Zen?
The place that inspired me the most, I'd say, the place that I'm itching to get back to is probably Xi'an in China. It's the food is phenomenal there. There's Muslim Chinese food that I'd never heard of before I was in China. I didn't even know that was like a culture or a cuisine. Step into Xi'an, which is like this old ancient city, and they've got this area within it called the Muslim Quarter, and the people there are like street traders that are making food at the a la minute. So like they're making food to order, they're spinning noodles, they're skewering lamb, like carving it off lamb off the side of the road, and like it's like hanging up. It's like so fresh, so good. The dumplings are insane. Like they've got Chinese bao and mergers. Have you heard of a merger?
No, tell me what that is.
That's like a Chinese hamburger. It's called a jiarao mao, or I think something like that. It's like chopped up meat within like a little pitta. So the reason that you've got this like Muslim Chinese, you've got the the reason there's beauty, or I love the Muslim Chinese food so much, is because you've got it's on the spice road. So you've got
Okay.
flavors of cumin, but then you've got flavors of chili, and you've got Szechuan there, and it all comes together. And then they just pile that onto lamb and stuff, and you've got these skewers, and you like bite them off, and the lamb like pops in your mouth, and it's like
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
And then
Because
the biang biang noodles. Have you heard of those?
yes, but
So they've got the biang biang noodles in, and that's where it's kind of done. So these wide belt noodles. I love a chewy wide noodle. They roll it out and then press it with a little chopstick, and then slap them on a bench, and
oh
that's
my
where the
goodness.
name of biang biang comes from. It comes from the slapping sound. So, and then they pull it, drop it into water, and then served with like some meat, some sesame
So
paste,
good.
some chili oils, and phenomenal.
Have you ever been inspired to create your own range of condiments?
Oh my god, I would love to create my own range of condiments. When you come,
Yes.
I've
Excited?
got my Philly's chili oil on the table, and so many guests have been like, "You should sell this,"
Because it's like,
because
because it's
I
really hard to get really good condiments.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot. There's a lot of good condiments out there, but I think my chili oil is pretty special. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it's not like a traditional chili oil. I put tomato paste in it, which like anyone would be like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" But it's got like loads of umami in there as well, and
Oh,
then the
yeah.
sweetness, umami, chili, there's nuttiness from the sesame, and then I've got loads of cinnamon and star anise going through it as well.
Oh,
So
oh God, I can't
super
wait.
tasty. But I would absolutely love it because I've developed so many products for supermarkets, and actually putting my own product, like I know behind the scenes, it's mine. I've developed
Yeah,
it, but actually putting my own product on the shelf, I'd be like,
it'd be amazing. Because for me, it'd be so amazing because I don't get an opportunity to have many sources and things like that. Because they've got GMO, like GMO ingredients, or not suitable for celiacs, or they have MSG in. If you do go down the line of creating your own condiments, please, please, please make it like, if you can,
gluten free.
gluten-free. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Because I can't have so many sauces because it's got wheat in it, and I'm like, oh, sorry, Carlos, like I'll have to like skip that.
Oh no.
But it would be because it's really difficult, like to get, because it adds in texture, so sometimes it's really difficult, and I'm like,
Yeah. Like for the chili oil, for example, to make it gluten free, I use tamari instead of soy, and for the tahini soy sauce. So like there are like alternatives. I'd say with a lot of Asian sauce or like Chinese sauces, there's a lot of soy in there, so that automatically makes it gluteny.
no.
I'm like any gochujang, yeah, there's gluten, so yeah.
Okay. But okay, so um congratulations on your new taste kitchen. Your first week for you has been crazy, but how are you feeling today? Like, do you feel like week one's done and you've achieved something amazing?
Yeah, well, by the time people are going to be hearing this, it's going to be week 4's
Yeah,
done.
that's right. Yeah, week 4, week 5, yeah. So
Yeah.
almost there. Yeah.
So it's going to be week 4, week 5, but there'll be like 3 weeks left. And I mean, I feel confident by the end of week 1. So by week 4 or 5, I feel like everything's
You'll
going
be
to be
gliding.
super
Yeah.
chill. I can come in at 12, being leave yourself to get on.
But I have to
No.
ask, everyone is raving about 2 dishes in particular. I've been doing my research on Instagram. The go-to miso funkfish and your octopus. What is your secret with those 2 dishes? I know they're in your cookbook, but what is your secret touch that you're doing? Because everyone's like, this is incredible. And the colors, like even
Yeah.
the plate you're serving them on, everything just complements each other. It's like a family. It's
I'd say I always say
amazing.
I need to get sponsored by gochujang because
If you're listening.
honestly, it's my favorite ingredient, and I use it everywhere. The miso gochujang monkfish. So the monkfish is marinated in gochujang and miso. The miso is like if you've had miso marinated mackerel or black cod or anything like that. it draws out the natural umami of the fish. So it's that the kojis and the fermented product that draws that out, makes it super tender, super juicy, and then flaky as well. That's what I'm going with monkfish. I love monkfish. It's my favorite fish, I'd say. It's like so meaty, so juicy, and so tender. Love it. And there's also a lot of gochujang in the in the octopus. So yeah, I think my secret to my cooking is if you get a tub of gochujang, you'll be laughing. Grab
Okay.
that now.
I will grab that.
But it's got good in it, so
it's all right. I can make it for myself. You can look but you can't touch. It's fine. But okay, I'm gonna try.
No, there might be a gluten-free version. Have a look.
But it just looks amazing, and everyone's been saying those two dishes have been spectacular.
And then we're making our own kimchi. So made our own kimchi, ferment that. I love a bit of fermented, products. We've got like loads of pickles, loads of kimchi, fermented hot sauces, and then the sauces. I love a split sauce, it's a miso beurre blanc, so it's miso yuzu beurre blanc, and then split with a chili oil. And the upgrade from the book, so it's a miso gochujang cod in the book it's just got some pak choi and the sauce. So it's very similar to the book. So all the recipe is in the book, but then it's in the restaurant and just leveled up slightly, but like pretty chill about that. The kimchi recipe's in the book as well, so you could add that in. So it's all very there. Yeah.
So my last question is: cooking is an art, and you've exhaustively researched your book. You're a chef, and you've got your own collection of essential knowledge, which has come through in this podcast with your science and your flavor and everything. But what does that mean to you? Because you studied chemistry, you learned as an apprentice, but you've adapted your own style. Now you are people are coming to your restaurant because of you and the menu you've created. How are you feeling about it? Because it's such an accomplishment from where you started to what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's pretty mad. Feel very humble and thankful to everyone that has supported me in the journey. Everyone who follows me on Instagram, to anyone who comes to the restaurant, and I literally go out to see everyone just because I'm just plus I'm just so thankful for everyone to be there. And it's amazing to actually be in this position. And yes, MasterChef gave me a little bit of platform, which is great. I mean, I worked my bum off for MasterChef, and I got there. But no, honestly, for people that are still continuing to follow me and support me and be there and cook and want to try my food, I'm just so grateful for. So thank you, everyone.
No, but it's good because I know you were on MasterChef for the professionals, and that would have been good for you to be against other professional chefs. And now you've got your own pop-up kitchen for the next 2 months, and you're kicking butt, literally. But honestly, it's been absolutely wonderful having you today on my podcast. And it's been lovely getting to know you and learning about your story in the food industry. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Great.